A scientist, not a soldier, not a spy, but one man quietly walked into Nazi-occupied Norway and helped stop a nuclear nightmare before it even began. His name was Leif Tronstad, and most people have never heard of him. Before the war, Tronstad wasn't blowing up factories or sneaking across borders. He was a professor, a chemist, the kind of guy who spent more time in a lab than anywhere near a battlefield. But here's the twist. That same lab work made him one of the most dangerous men in Europe. Because Tronstad understood something most people didn't. The Germans weren't just invading countries. They were trying to build an atomic weapon. And to do that, they needed one critical thing: heavy water. Not regular water. Heavy water was rare, difficult to produce, and absolutely essential for early nuclear research. And there was only one place in Europe producing it at scale: a hydroelectric plant in Norway. Once the Nazis occupied Norway, that plant became one of their most valuable assets, and suddenly, Tronstad's knowledge wasn't academic anymore. It was strategic. So he made a decision. He didn't stay in Norway, he escaped. Across mountains, through enemy territory, eventually reaching Britain. And that's where everything changed. The professor became a planner, a strategist, a man working directly with the Allies to destroy the very facility he once helped understand. But bombing it from the air, too risky, too inaccurate. If they failed, the Germans would just rebuild it. So they chose something far more dangerous: a sabotage mission. Small team, deep behind enemy lines, in the middle of winter. And Tronstad wasn't just involved. He helped design the entire operation. Every detail, every entry point, every weak spot. Think about that for a second. He wasn't just trying to destroy a building, he was trying to stop a future. The operation began with disaster. The first team, captured. Some executed. Others disappeared. At that point, most plans would have been abandoned. Not this one. A second team was sent. They skied across frozen terrain, avoiding patrols, surviving in conditions that could kill you in hours. And when they reached the plant, they didn't blow everything up. They did something smarter. They targeted the heavy water equipment itself, quietly, surgically. No alarms, no firefight. They walked in, set the charges, and walked out. And then, the explosion. The facility was crippled. Germany's nuclear progress delayed. But the story doesn't end there, because the Germans tried again. They moved the remaining heavy water, put it on a ferry, and planned to ship it out. If that shipment made it, everything they had risked could be undone. So the resistance made another decision. They would sink the ferry, not in open sea, but on a lake, with civilians on board. It wasn't a clean choice. It wasn't heroic in the usual way. But they believed the cost of doing nothing would be far worse. The ferry sank, the heavy water was lost, and Germany's nuclear ambitions took another hit. And Tronstad, he didn't stay safe in Britain. He went back into occupied Norway. Not as a professor, but as a resistance leader, coordinating sabotage, training fighters, staying one step ahead of the Nazis. Until 1945, just months before the war ended, Tronstad was killed during an operation. He never saw the victory he helped secure. The world never saw a Nazi atomic bomb, and history moved forward, without ever fully realizing how close things might have come.